You are watching William Patterson University Television.
Hello and welcome back to the desk. We have Stephen, Joe, Jimmy, and Chris here to break down the budding Pioneer softball season. Now, fellas, Pioneers are back from their trip to Florida. They went 9-3. Great record to start. Stephen, what game stuck out to you the most?
Yeah, they had 12 games down there. They all played very well. The game that stuck out to me was against Suffolk University. They won 4-3. It was a nice game. They only had 5 hits, which I see as a negative, but every negative you can find a positive. This means they draw a lot of walks. They hit when runners were in scoring position, which is huge. Suffolk was 31-9 last year, and they almost won their conference championship. This is a tough team, and it was I believe it was the 7th game of the tournament. So pitchers obviously were they were on break. Players, substitutions were going through. It was just a nice game to see.
Joe?
I had the game against Gettysburg College because Gettysburg College, they came into that game with a 7-4 record. They were on fire, didn't look like anyone could stop them, and they had the lead through 5 innings. And what the Lady Pioneers did, they came back in the 5th inning, they tied the game, 6th inning, they took the lead. I look at that game and I see them playing against one of their best opponents that they played in Florida. They came back and they won, and that was the last game they played. So they're heading back to North with a big win down there.
Jimmy?
For me, it was the game against Bologna. Final score of that game, 18-10 in only 5 innings, 14 runs in the first inning. That's insane. 11 different Pioneers had an RBI in that game, so it was a very well-rounded game. The 10 runs are maybe a cause for concern, but when your offense is putting up numbers like that, it almost doesn't matter because you still win by 8 runs, and they also had no errors on the field. Overall, impressive game by the Pioneers. Like I said, the 10 runs may be a cause for concern, but overall on the trip, they were solid pitching, so I'm not really worried about it.
Chris, how about you?
Right. For me, it was the game versus Plymouth State University. They did a fantastic job of holding the lead. So they got out to a great lead, 4-0 in the first 2 innings. And in the later innings, they had to fight off a comeback from the other team, and it's very hard to fight off late inning rallies. We know how that is. So they showed great perseverance. Alex Gubiak came in, shut it down, got the save. It was a really good game, and it impressed me because it's something I haven't seen from them before.
And Chris, we'll keep it with you. Going from overall team efforts to overall player efforts, obviously a lot of players contributed to a lot of these wins, but what player in particular stuck out for you from the Florida trip?
You can't ignore Christine Griffith's bat. You really can't. She hit 3rd for most of this tournament. She had, batted .306 with 11 hits and 5 RBIs as well, scoring 11 runs, just doing a fantastic job manufacturing the runs. Her slugging percentage was up near 500, which is fantastic. She just paces this team, and having a bat in the middle of the lineup like her, you can't say enough about her.
Jimmy?
For me, I'm looking at Sydney Pace. Now, she's had a little bit of trouble the past couple seasons defensively. She had 5 errors on the trip. Definitely cause for concern there. And she's only batting .273 right now, but I definitely expect that to improve. She can definitely be a very solid player for this team. They have faith in her. She started all 12 games down there in Florida, so I think they have a lot of respect for her. They, like I said, I think they also expect her to improve, and I think by the end of the season, you could be seeing Sydney Pace as one of their most solid players on the season.
Joe?
How could you not go with Kaitlyn Mazzaro? I mean, she is really the team's MVP, as we're going to take a look at her stats there. She went down, she played in all 12 games, started all of them. She hit .390, 16 RBIs, and you look at the RBIs there. She drove in a run. They played 12 games down there. 9 of the 12 games she drove in a run. She had the game-winning double against the University of New England. She hit the team's only home run. She scored 6 runs. She's slugging .488. It's hard to find a flaw in these stats, really.
Steven?
I'm going to go with junior outfielder Vanessa Archibald, leading the team in average and runs. She hit .452 down there in 12 games started, 14 hits, 3 RBIs, 10 runs, and slugging percentage was .484. I mean, this is a kind of a tricky situation because she started 41 games in 2017. Last year, obviously, Kara Molnar, who graduated, had the starting center fielder job, and she only played 26 games. Now, she's back, Vanessa Archibald. She's a speedster, can steal bases, can score runs, and the best leadoff hitter, honestly, on the team.
Vanessa Archibald, Pioneer of the Week this week.
There you go.
From the athletic department. Stephen, we'll go back to you for this one. The season continues next week.
Yep.
Obviously, some things to improve upon. The wins are great, but you still need, some sort of push here. What improvements would you like to see the Pioneers make?
Jimmy, I know you brought up the game when they scored 18 runs. Only 3 games down there, they scored over 6 runs. You got to get more offense. That's not going to go against strong starting pitching teams and relief pitching teams and teams that have a tremendous offense. If you can only put up 4 runs, they're probably going to be putting up 8 or 9 on you. So they got to find out ways to manufacture more runs. That can mean walks, bunting, anything.
Joe?
Yeah, it's very hard to find a lot of flaws with a 9-3 record down in Florida, but what I did see is the fact that they were unable to come up against good teams. They played 4 teams that have a record over 500, and they went 1-3 in those games. If they want to make a deep playoff run, if they want to go far, they're going to have to beat the better opponents.
This is kind of going off what Steve said. Overall, their offense, besides the Bologna game, was okay. They need to do a better job of taking advantage of good starts by their pitchers. They went 9-3 down there, could have easily gone 12-0. In the 3 games they lost by final scores of 2-1, 3-1, and 2-1. The game against New England, that game was scoreless until the 8th inning, until they finally scored 2 runs, won that game 2-0. So, overall, great trip for them, 9-3. But like I said, they could have easily gone 12-0, and nothing's more frustrating than for your pitchers to go out there, put you in position to win, and to not come out. Chris, it's kind of like Jacob deGrom. So, you want to definitely see improvement on that part.
Round us out for us, Chris.
The best way to support your pitching is with some defense. And there was one game that stuck out to me. It was one of their losses versus Arcadia, who's no slouch, but they lost 3-1 with 5 errors. There's very much room for improvement there, and if you clean up maybe half of those errors, 2 or 3 of them, then maybe you're in a winning position in that game. So it's a little bit better defense when we come back here in New Jersey, and we'll be good.
Sounds good. Obviously a lot looking forward to the Pioneer softball season. Well, good luck to all our Pioneers over the next week, but don't go anywhere as we tackle NFL free agency next. I like it.